a proper welcome.
Hello there.
What are you drinking?
Ginger ale. This is the only clear glass that I have in my house right now because I'm packed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ginger ale for the win. Yes, you can't fail with ginger ale.
Yeah.
That just rhymed, and I did not mean to rhyme. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Quarantini Mimosas. How you doing today, beautiful?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for giving your time. I'm truly appreciative. I'm so glad that you are here and you decided to spend your 8 o'clock hour. Well, 5 o'clock. I don't know where you are. You on the West Coast?
I'm at Central Time, so 7 o'clock hour.
Okay. Thank you for spending your 7 o'clock hour with me. I'm truly honored. So, before I even start the interview, I do want to formally introduce myself to you and your followers. I'm Shannon Mack. I have a show on YouTube. It's called Pedis and Mimosas. It's a celebrity interview while we have mimosas and we get pedicures and we just talk about great things. And it's a cool show. It's my own platform. I created it from nothing. It's my own thing. And thank you. But the world, was going through some things. So I had to create the quarantine edition of it. So welcome to Quarantini and Mimosas.
Yes, thank you.
I had to get innovative and I had to keep the brand alive. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? So
that's what we've done. We've been innovative, and it's so cool to watch everybody. It's so cool to be able to watch creators just be like, oh, we're just going to snap back. We're going to do this a different way.
I know. Shout out to all the creators out there that have snapped back, because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah.
So how has this pandemic been treating you, girl?
Gosh. Well, I mean, we could talk about how it's been treating my pants and me not being able to fit everything.
Girl, you are not alone.
Listen, we could talk about that, or we can also talk about how I've, realized how much I need people, how much I miss being in the room with people when we worship and during a corporate worship experience or singing anything
I love that.
Yeah.
How much you need people. It takes a really brave big girl to really admit that we need people. People are so I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can even sit here and say that is powerful.
Here's the thing though. I'm an introvert, and I think a lot of times introverts pride themselves in being able to do all of that right there. But being an introvert, it doesn't mean being bitter or isolated all the time. It just means you need alone time to, to recharge. But just being that we take pride in the whole oh, I'm okay alone. It's been very humbling for me to realize when the Bible says iron sharpens iron, sometimes that just means you just need to be around people so you don't go crazy and start talking to yourself. Okay?
Girl.
I'm just saying.
Did you have some sort of a revelation? Did something happen when you finally realized that, wait, I do need people? Did something happen during this time?
Absolutely. I became more, I value my friends so much more.
Yeah.
I reached out more. I took the time to do it, to tell people I love them. So I realized that I do have the energy for the effort. Sometimes we use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been an eye-opening time. I was just thinking about how everybody the prophetic word, even just over 2020 was 2020 vision. And so many people are laughing at that because a lot of things have happened this year that would seem negative. But I think a lot of us can say that we see ourselves more clearly, that we understand our lives and just even where we were at emotionally more clearly. I think relationships have been illuminated. I mean, so much. There's so much that I see more clearly right now. And I couldn't agree more that this has been a year of 2020 vision. And, a lot of people thought, oh, it's just a play on words. But when I think about it in my life, absolutely, this has been a 2020 vision year for me.
That's awesome. And while you were able to be brave and say, I do need people, have you been brave to say, I don't need such and such and such and such?
Yes, but I have not been brave enough to say that I don't need DoorDash, even though I don't. I've been brave enough to say it. I've been brave enough to say it, but not to act upon that just yet.
Wait,
Uh,
DoorDash over Uber Eats?
I honestly DoorDash because, and it depends on where you are, but like DoorDash they have a lot more options. And here's the thing, guys. Let me tell you, because I'm an expert. Okay, if you can't find it on one of the apps, it's on the other app.
Those are facts.
Facts,
Those
girl.
are
Facts.
facts. So I do want to thank you and your team. I don't know if your team is checked in right now, but thank you so much for inviting me to your listening party earlier.
Oh man.
I was honored to be in the building. So thank you so much for inviting me. And you were just like, I'm like, I literally was crying. Like I was crying when you sang, I think it was, I don't know the name because I know you just, this is like a new EP that you're dropping on
Yeah.
what, Friday, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the name. I think it was like the second or third song you sang.
I
I
try. Was it live?
yes, it
I
was live
try.
when you played You Are on the guitar, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I got a little emo because I'm a
I'm
Cancer.
sorry. At least
That's
the
the
camera was off because everybody
no.
didn't have the camera on.
My camera was definitely off, girl. I definitely got a little teary eyed. I was like, oh my God, I cannot
Oh,
wait to interview her. You sounded amazing.
thank
So,
you.
so, so good. Like your
Thank you.
voice is like one of a kind. You and Shalea. Do you know who Shalea is?
Oh, I'll have to check her out. Please.
Shalea from the Clark Sister. She was on Lifetime movie. Like she's actually
Oh,
I
okay.
interviewed her. Your voice and her voice.
Oh man, I'm gonna go check.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go check her out right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you
after
gotta check
this,
Shalea out for sure.
right?
I could see you guys actually like maybe getting together and doing a song.
Ooh,
Yeah, amazing. Amazing.
yeah.
So how long have you been in the gospel industry?
I would say since 2009, 2010.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's a 10-year run. Yeah, since my family,
Wow.
because we did Forever Jones, and yeah, we did Forever Jones, and then in 2014, I just felt like let me just start doing what's in my heart. Let me start singing some
Mm,
stuff that I wrote that I feel um, that I need to say.
nice,
And
nice, nice.
yeah,
And comparing from where you are now to where you started, what has the journey been like? If you can even sum it up, can you?
oh man, yeah. I mean, I can sum it up, but it just doesn't do the whole story justice. But I will for this segment right here.
Thank you.
um, it was this journey of being this pastor's daughter and being in ministry, just growing up in ministry, and the Lord speaking these promises over me about what He wanted to do through my life. And of course, I'm excited about that. And then it's like the story of David. Like he gets this huge word of affirmation in front of his brothers, and the prophet pours oil over his head, and
Yeah.
and then he kills the giant, and he's thinking, this is it, this is where this is, and he ends up being chased out of town by the king because the king is jealous. It just seems like his life goes the exact opposite direction of what he felt like God said. And I think a lot of us can understand and bear witness with that. There are moments in
Mm-hmm.
our lives where we're like, you got me excited to sign up and be in the army of the Lord, but this is not what the contract said was gonna happen when I signed up. And
Girl,
yeah, and I'm not saying it was
girl.
all bad. Like I was doing stuff, but I wasn't doing what I saw myself doing in my heart or what I felt like I was gonna at the level, that I was gonna do it. But all in that moment, let's see, my heart was positioned in a place of surrender. Like everybody thinks that surrender looks like you saying yes when everything's going the way you want it to. Surrender looks like you
Mm,
saying yes when everything's not going the way you want it to. Surrender is ugly. Surrender is not pretty. Surrender has tears. Surrender has the ugly cry. And that is what that season of my life brought me to a place of like full surrender. Like, God, even if my seed and my children or the kids that I mentor, even if they carry on the dream and I see it fulfilled in them, I'm still going to be all that you called me to be. And I know that you're with me. I'm still going to trust you. Like, that's the place that I had to get to. And I
yeah.
believe that those moments of being processed carve out the space in you and prepare you and give you the capacity to carry the weight of what God's wanting to do in your life. So, That, I mean, honestly,
Girl.
that sums up the time. I'm trying to give you the meat of the story because
Yeah.
that's what I learned from it.
Hmm.
And yeah.
That was a whole word. Somebody said it in the comments just now, like that was a whole word. You said so much just now, and so many questions have come up in my mind from what you just said. You said you were a pastor's daughter.
Yep.
First of all, can we just like touch on that real quick? What did you? Because I grew up in the church too, and
Yeah.
I have friends that were daughters of the pastor that still did whatever the heck they wanted to.
Okay.
Did you experience like a lot of pressure being the daughter of the pastor? Like what type of what was that like for you?
Sure. I mean, so I grew up saying like, oh no, the pressure is great because at least it kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
But now I kind of see the effects of that, and I try. The song I try is like kind of sums up the effect that that had on me. I've learned throughout my life that I have a delayed reaction sometimes to things that have happened to me. I don't know if anybody else out there is like me, but it takes me a
Mm-hmm.
minute. It takes my body, my mind, and
Yeah.
my heart a minute to respond to what happened. And I didn't know this, but over time, subconsciously, I built this city in my mind with all of these rules and regulations of how I should respond, how I should act, all of
Yeah.
that stuff. And so now in this season in my life, it's really cool because God's putting his finger on that, and he's like, hey, you somewhere along the way thought that what you do, who you are, how you act is what bought and purchased you love. And it is in this moment, in front of everybody, that I'm going to pull back those layers so that while you're being set free, other people can be set free too. And that is those are the weights that I picked up as a pastor's kid. And my parents didn't put it on me. It's just like, and then like we moved to Shreveport, and I was still a pastor's daughter, but my dad wasn't the senior pastor, but he was on staff. And just like sometimes being a high profile person in the church, or someone that a lot of people know, or someone who's always on stage, just your experiences can kind of have this effect on you. And God has
Yeah.
this beautiful way of doing surgery, but not cutting it all out at once, because he doesn't want to lose the harvest while removing the weeds. He's an incredible gardener, you know?
Hold on. Say
Like,
that again. Say it again. Please. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Say it
No, it's
again.
just that.
Please just say that last part again. Girl, that touched me. It touched me. Say it again.
Because it's real, sis.
It is.
It's real, sis.
It
I'm just
is.
saying, I get emotional when I think about it, you know? Like, I was just saying that God has a way of doing surgery on us, but not removing it all at one time, because he doesn't want to lose the harvest while getting rid of the weeds. And that's what he's done for me. He graciously removes sin. He graciously removes whatever we say to him. Okay, God, I give you access. When he puts his finger on something, that's when we got to say yes. Because it's this process. You know what I mean? It's not something that just happens all at once. So here I am, getting performance removed from my heart.
Girl, how do you stay patient during these times though?
Oh my God, I'm so impatient.
How?
I'm so impatient, but it's just like, he course corrects me. And you know what? Here's the deal. It's conversations like these that help us be patient, because you realize that you're not behind, right? That you're
Yes,
not
yes,
late, because
yes.
somebody else is in the same process. And there's no like specified time in your life or
Girl, you
age
about to make
that
me
you're
cry.
supposed to. Well, I'm saying that you're
Whew.
supposed to walk through this. I've met 80-year-old women, 70-year-old women who are dealing with performance, but maybe they got rid of something else at 32 that you know what I mean, that I hadn't tapped into yet. You're on your own timeline with God. You can't compare. I mean, social media is meant for moments like this right here, but
Yeah,
oftentimes we subconsciously use it to compare our journey to someone else, and
yeah.
it takes the power away from what God's doing in our lives.
And it takes the joy away
And
as
the
well.
joy.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's so much joy in the journey and there's so much
Oh
joy in
my.
where you are.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. What was the next thing I wanted to ask you? You said so much in that when I asked you about the 10-year gap that it was, now some of it has left me, but I know I'll come back to it. But so this EP that you are about to drop on Friday, guys, I got to hear the songs today. What can you tell everybody on what to expect for Friday?
Gosh, so today I listened to it again with you guys for the first time in a minute because I just take my time. I don't want to get tired of it. I want to be excited while everybody else is excited. And I realized all over again that this EP is going to spur deep conversations that need to be had between believers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've got to be able to not only just talk about scripture, but talk about it in a way that it really does apply to our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so the fact that God's given me this opportunity to write songs that are conversations about real and raw and true issues in my life, I do not take that for granted. I think you guys are gonna just see another side of me, but it's gonna be very honest, and I'm excited about that. And I pray that you're blessed by it.
Girl, they will be. We will be for sure. So one of the questions I did want to ask you is hearing the voice of God.
Right.
How do you do that? How do you listen and actually hear the voice of God and know how to navigate and know what to do? Because I'll be honest. For honesty right now.
Be honest.
I feel like past couple of, I guess maybe like the past month, I've been fighting with myself like, God, did I really hear did I really hear you clearly? Did I really do the right thing? Even though I always tell people that any decision you make will always lead you to where you're supposed to be, whether you think it's right or wrong. But it's easy for me to tell people that, but it's kind of hard to accept it on my own,
Oh, yeah.
So how do you hear the voice of God?
Yeah, I mean, it's like how your gift works so much better for other people, and then you try to use it for yourself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
starts malfunctioning.
Yeah.
No, I actually really love this subject because I feel like there are too many children out there that say God doesn't speak to me. And
Yeah.
what kind of father would reserve his voice for people behind a pulpit with a mic in their hand who have the title prophet or prophetess or minister so and so? A father desires for everyone to know what his voice looks like, but you cannot put his voice in a box. He speaks in so many different ways. How in the world does the rooster know that it's time to crow every morning? How does the
Yeah.
sea know how to, bring in the tide and when to go back? It's because God doesn't speak English, God speaks heart. And so he knows how to communicate with you best. So that's the first thing I want to say. Like, I've heard people say, when God speaks to me, I see it. I see these words flash before me. When God speaks to me, I feel what he's saying to me, and I use the human language that I was born into to articulate what he's saying. And then the next thing is like, how do you know what he's saying and how do you not get weird? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could say God said anything, but I truly believe that. So the Word of God says that the Word of God is living and it's breathing, it's active. And so you're not just reading words off a page, you're consuming this living organism within yourself. And when you hear the voice of God and when you're trying to test it, there is that confirmation that you feel in your heart because it lines up with the Word of God. It sounds like something he would say. You hear people talk about how the New Testament is about the gospel and the acts of Christ, and it's very prophetic. But in the Old Testament, you learn about God's character and how he is and how he works and the ins and outs and how it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would say that don't limit God. Know that he speaks heart. Read your word. Oftentimes we're looking for God to show up in this burning bush in our room and like give us this huge experience. Mm-hmm. And our Bible's sitting on the nightstand. We haven't picked it up in 2 weeks. Right? Because we're just like, oh, speak to me the way I want to hear you. And he's like, no, I'm going to speak to you the way that I want to speak to you. And it's going to be beautiful. But that was the part of the process for me, was like just what you said. God, did I miss you? Like, did
Yeah.
I make all of this up? I mean, think about Abraham getting the promise and not seeing it for 15 years. I know that there was a question in his heart. Like, is this just something that I wanted from me? Or sometimes we ask, is this just something that somebody else really wanted for me? So they spoke this word over me and I
Yeah.
wanted it, so it bore witness with my heart. Honestly, you won't know until you get there. And that's why this is called a walk of faith. But on the other side of that, right, are invaluable lessons that you're going to be able to share with someone else. These moments right here add dollar signs to our pain. They add dollar signs to our mistakes because we're able to say, God didn't tell me that I was going to marry that person. I just thought I was. So don't go down that road. And somebody listening is going to go, you know what? I probably, you know what I mean? And they're going to avoid the mistakes that we've made in
Yeah.
our lives. So,
Mm-hmm. Girl, you are amazing. If
oh,
nobody's
you're so
told
sweet. You're
you,
so sweet.
like, you
Thank you.
really are, like, I'm sitting here really trying so hard to fight back tears right now. Like,
Oh,
you are,
sweet.
like, for real speaking to me. Everybody on the live, yeah, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. But this is an intimate conversation between me and
Let's
Doe.
talk,
Like,
girl. Let's talk, because I'm tearing up
I
myself.
am loving every minute of this. So during the listening party, I heard
Yeah.
you say that there was a time that you didn't know if you wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And
It
I
was a
was like, wait,
process.
what? Like, can you
Look,
talk about that? And
I
like
was
really
just
following through?
look, I was freaking discouraged. I was just like,
Mm,
I was in that moment. I was teaching in a high school and I loved my job, but I was like, this does not look like how I thought it would look. Maybe God meant when he said you're going to sing and you're going to do all this and that. Maybe he meant that I'm going to pass this dream on to younger kids and they're going to do it.
yeah.
And I was at such a low place that I would have rather just move on to something else and live and maybe be happy than try to keep moving forward in this dream that God placed in my heart and be depressed because it ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that temptation to give up. When you walk with the Lord, like the enemy will stop it, and he does not play fair. Like there are moments where I would feel like, how could you, Satan? Like right now, really, you
Right.
know. But he strategically plans, just the same way that God has this elaborate plan for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just was walking through stuff. I was walking through the death of relationships. It just seemed like everything was just like it seemed like me having a dream was me being prideful and maybe I needed to be humbled, you know? And so I had to make a decision. I had to make a choice in that moment that regardless of who was listening, I love singing so much. It's not a gift that is just on me, it's in me. So regardless of whoever was listening, I was going to always have an outlet for this gift and I was going to keep singing. And I was going to trust God through it all. And like I said, that was not pretty. Sometimes that looked like questioning.
Yeah.
Um, but it also looks like this on the other side. And I just need somebody to know who is just in this. You really feel like maybe you miss God. You really feel like maybe I thought I knew how to hear him, but I don't. Maybe this is a teaching season. Maybe this is a teaching or a season where God is like humbling me.
Yeah.
I just need you to keep putting one foot in front of the freaking other.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a day when you wake up and you're going to be on the other side. You're going to have crossed the finish line of this moment and this season of the testing of your faith. And guess what is going to be settled within you? You're going to have a resolve. You are going to know without a shadow of a doubt. You will never question again who you're doing this for because you walked through that. And oftentimes, I had to realize this, sometimes God has us walk through things, not because he needs to know where our heart is, but because we need to know where our heart is. Like,
Girl.
I'm looking back now, and I'm like, I know. I know that I'm
Yeah.
doing this for the Lord because of what I walked
Yeah.
through and because of
Yeah.
the moments where I had to say yes. And so this is also for you. this is also for you when you get there, when people try to say, oh, you're just here for the crowd, and they try to question your heart. You'll know. You'll
Yep.
know because you'll know what you gave up to get to where you are.
Girl.
Yeah. I'm
Yo.
sorry. I was supposed to be telling you. So yeah, that was that moment. I was just feeling so low.
It's perfect.
But I just have to
Everything about
encourage
this is
people.
perfect.
I have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. No, I totally feel you. So back to your album. How many tracks? Tell everybody how many
Okay.
tracks.
So we have to say EP because if I say album and then tell you how many tracks, they're gonna be like, eh.
Okay, EP.
Yeah,
My bad.
because there's only five.
Five, right.
Yeah.
Because then it would be an LP, right?
Right. I guess.
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. What
Yeah.
does L stand for? Long?
I don't know. I think we should look that up, right?
Yeah. There are
Long
five songs
project?
on the EP. Yeah, the project.
Long project.
Because album is coming. A whole project is coming.
Okay.
So
All
we're just
right.
releasing a taste right now, and so five songs. You've got Brighter, which you guys have heard. You've got Good Now, which is a nice vibey song. You know, ain't nobody gonna be putting the top down right now because we going into winter.
Right.
But you can vibe inside the car with the windows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we've got I Try, which we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like that's going to bless people just because I've tapped into another part of my heart to write that song. Hey You, I'm so excited about Hey You because that's a juicy song. Somebody said Lil Project.
Yeah.
So funny. Um, and Take Me Back. Take Me Back is a very honest song. And if you want to know what Take Me Back is about before it comes out, then just go listen to Andre Crouch's Take Me Back. Isn't that Andre Crouch?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Don't get me to
somebody tell
lying.
us in the comments. Tell me if I'm a liar in the comments.
Yeah,
I
because
think
don't get
that's
me to
it.
lying.
Right.
Nice,
I,
nice.
I think that's it, yeah.
So when you went in, the original plan that you had for this EP,
Yeah.
is it exactly what you expected, or exactly what you
No.
planned for, or no,
No.
no, really? So what did you plan for versus what you got?
Well, I mean, come on, like, and let's look at the whole EP like we would a
Mm-hmm.
song. You don't know.
Somebody was calling you.
My brother's FaceTime me. You don't know what a song is going to actually say till it's all the way written. Sometimes you think it's going to be about one thing, and then it's about a whole nother thing. And so that's how and I'm like, most people know me as this worship leader. So I was planning for a worship EP, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And worship is kind of easy for me because I've been doing it so long. But what's not easy for me is transparency. So this
Yeah.
is all fun for us, but it's really a learning experience for me. And learning to be okay with sharing my stories and my embarrassing stories, the painful ones, the funny ones, all through music, and just putting it out there in such a beautiful way. And yes, it is Andre Crouch. Okay, so yeah, like I thought maybe it was gonna be on another wave, but like this is also fun because I would write these songs through life experiences because writing songs are therapy for me. And I always
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, well, while I'm doing ministry and stuff, I'm sure one day I'll just pitch these songs to somebody, or maybe they'll just never see the light of day and they just help me out.
Mm-hmm.
But now I do get to share this other artist side of me that Jonathan knows, because Jonathan actually knows the artist side. I would send him songs. We would send songs back and forth. That was our friendship. Hey, what do
Yeah.
you think about this? Check this lyric out, and he'd be like, "Man, I really like that." And so he didn't really see me in that worship light, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was cool because this is like so much more exciting in my opinion than me doing a worship album, because this isn't just me, like he was saying today earlier, it's just me saying, everybody look at God, just look at God, don't look at me, it's all about the Lord. This is me saying, let me share my stories with you and how God walked me through that. And that can be scary, but it's good for me.
Nice. Very, very nice. I love it. So what is it like working with Jonathan?